Greetings, it is I, Chris Denner, and today we're going to be talking about very emotionally charged wedding photography and why you should consider doing a first look at your wedding so you end up with photos like this. Now, these kind of images can be created with anybody that's important to you. Groomsmen, bridesmaids, mums, dads, grandparents, anybody who's essentially a wedding VIP. They're so emotionally charged, you get tears, laughter, and they can be a great way pre-ceremony to settle nerves and a lovely way for me to capture honest connections. So, photos like this, ideas like this don't just happen, we need to create them. So here's a couple of tips for you. In the run-up to the wedding, speak to your photographer. Or if I'm shooting your wedding, which fingers crossed I am, speak to me. I'll plan that for you. Generally, we need to do this before the ceremony, usually about 30 minutes. So whoever's receiving the first look is ready. I'll then orchestrate it with whoever they've chosen to share that first look with. Now, you have to be prepared that they're very, very busy. They can be very tense and very exciting. So the first tip I'd say to you is make sure the room is nice and clean. I know that sounds like a really odd thing to say, but miscellaneous bottles, things here, there and everywhere, they just don't work. When I'm trying to photograph someone's honest in reaction and I'm seeing bags of Tesco bags in the background, or bags for life, or empty champagne bottles or empty beer bottles, clutter everywhere. We don't want to see that. We want the room as simple as possible. The second thing I'd say is make sure that you've prepared the person or people that are going to be in this first look. I always like to talk to them candidly and just sort of give them like some heads up and say, look, this is a very emotional photo. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to look shocked, shocked. Don't try and hide anything in. Don't try and act for the camera. Just be yourselves, because what we're really looking for is authenticity like this. And the other thing we need to acknowledge is that any reaction is valid. Not every photo is going to be the participant in floods of tears. Not every photo is going to have somebody ecstatically happy. What we're actually looking for is something that's authentic and real. Otherwise, it's just stage and it's going to look naff. Another quick tip is, as a photographer, I like to be over the bride or the groom's shoulder. Their reaction is lovely, and generally what I want to do is start over their shoulder, photograph whoever's coming to see them, and then swing around to the right, photograph them from the side as they're having a quick touch or a cuddle, if you're English, and then I like to move around and shoot over their shoulder so we can see either the bride or the groom's face. This is really important. It's not just a one-shot deal for me. I want to document everything that goes on. So it's really important that as a photographer, I've got the space. So again, prepping that room out, getting rid of clutter, chairs, makeup, all of that kind of stuff is really, really important that we sanitize the room and get it ready for the photography. Like this. And one thing we have to accept as well is it's a roller coaster. We can set all of these things up and then we just have to release. We have to release and we have to just see what's happening. Sometimes they're absolutely just nerve-wracking. The couples, the brides, the grooms, any participants are literally shaking with excitement. And sometimes they can be really muted and understated, but equally, that's really beautiful as well. I guess the key thing we're looking for here with these photos is to keep it authentic. It's got to be real, and it's got to look a little bit like this. First look photos is something that I shoot at practically every single one of my weddings, and I do honestly recommend that you think about doing it at your wedding. So there you have it. That is why I feel you should think about doing a first look image at your wedding. What are your thoughts? Have you done one? Didn't you do one? Do you regret it? Or are you planning on doing one? If you are, if you've got any thoughts or feelings, check me out in the comments section and I'll speak to you soon. See you later.